relaxing campus life, and the campus that's located in the beautiful and historic city of York. We are a community of staff and students. We have a dedicated director for students, overseeing student welfare and the nurturing of the community. We highly value the student voice. We have student reps who contribute to decisions on teaching developments. Our programmes have helped our graduates develop careers in a very wide range of sectors, such as environmental management, policy development, environmental consultancy, teaching, the public sector, local government and conservation bodies. We very much hope that you will choose to join our exciting and dynamic community and help us find solutions to the world's pressing challenges. There's never been.
Okay, so hopefully you found that useful and it gave you a really great insight into the Department of Environment and Geography here at the University of York. So I've also collated here some quotes from some of our current students, and this really reflects on how they feel about the courses and what they enjoy the most. So this ranges from the super helpful staff to the lively department to gaining essential life skills, and also some of the field trips to the North Yorkshire coast, which are some of the highlights for our students. So now you've learned a bit more about our courses, I want to tell you a bit more about what we as a university are doing to be more sustainable. So you can see some examples on the screen, but we are also working with staff, with students, and also with the local community to embed sustainable thinking across all areas of the university. And this includes things such as reducing our energy and carbon footprint, consuming and procuring goods more responsibly, keeping sustainability at the forefront of our research, working alongside our local community and environment, and embedding sustainability in our education through environmental and sustainability themes. And these are embedded often in a wide range of our undergraduate and postgraduate programmes. And we also work on promoting health and wellbeing as well. So we do recognise as a university that sustainability is one of the main challenges facing us, particularly in relation to climate change. And this is at least for the next 10 years to come. So sustainability here at the University of York is one of our core strategic principles. And to support this, we are developing a new sustainability plan alongside the university strategy. So as an institution, we also held a One Planet Week fairly recently, and this had sustainability themed events, discussions and debates. And we are also attending the COP26 Climate Change Conference, which is, I think, later this month or next month. And a delegation of our researchers will be attending this event to engage with the COP26 process by joining national and international networks and also contributing to policy briefs. So if you do want to learn more, so we are offering in conjunction with FutureLearn, we're currently offering a free 4-week self-guided online course. This is known as a MOOC, which stands for a massive open online course. And this is where you can discover how environmental research can inform how we respond to and also solve some of the major global environmental issues of today. And this MOOC is called Tackling Environmental Challenges for a Sustainable Future. So this is really of interest to students interested in pursuing studies within this area. It's important to read around the subject, and also attending a MOOC and engaging with current news is really great to include in your university applications. So this would give you a great insight and understanding into what you might learn at university, and also how the University of York and our research is helping to develop sustainable solutions to environmental problems. So that brings me to the end of my section all about sustainability and the environment here at the University of York. So thank you all for listening, and I hope that this was really useful and informative. If you have any further questions, please do come and chat to us in our booth, where you can find lots of additional information as well. So I'm going to hand over now to Tom from the University of British Columbia, based in Canada, and he can talk all about sustainability there. So I'll just stop sharing my screen and over to you, Tom.
Okay, that's fantastic, Vicky. Thanks for sharing all your expertise on there and for the lovely pictures as well. It's really interesting as a sort of university staff member to sort of see how our partners are doing a lot of things that align with our values, especially within sustainability. So yeah, it's really great that we do have that partnership. So as Vicky mentioned, if you do decide to come to UBC or go to York, then you've always got the option of doing an exchange program. And even though you might be an international student coming to the UK or coming to Canada, that's not going to stop you from traveling and doing exchange programs overseas as well. So definitely that is something I would hugely recommend to you if you're looking to sort of add some really great experiences to your university years. Now, just while I'm sharing my own presentation, I just want you guys to ponder the question, what is sustainability? Now, you'll notice that there's a little chat box in the bottom right of your screen. So if you can humor me and maybe pop a few of your definitions of what sustainability means to you, and also maybe have a little think about what you can do, even if you're not necessarily thinking of doing a pure sustainable or environmental science degree, how you might integrate sustainability into your university years and I guess your life in general. So if you can maybe go ahead and pop those in the chat box, I'll have a read of those a little bit later on. And again, you can just pop these in as we're going through. So yeah, the question is, what is sustainability and why does it matter? Now, in this day and age, obviously the advent of communication technology, everyone is talking about hot topics, and at the minute it is, you know, the environment, looking after our earth and making sure that we actually do have a future moving forward. 20 years ago, when I started university, it wasn't really a thing. Yes, people spoke about the ozone layer being depleted, and we talked about sort of recycling, etc. But it wasn't really high up on the agenda. But over the past 20 years, it's become much more of a hot topic, like I said. And I think the generation of our youth today who are going into university, it will be you guys who actually clean up the mistakes from my generation and previous generations, and actually hopefully ensure that the world is carrying on for the future. But that's looking at a sort of huge global scale, but we can take things sustainable living into a much smaller scale. I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian for 7 years now. That's one thing I'm doing. Obviously recycling that we do on an everyday basis, those types of things, trying to be carbon neutral with travel. That's one of the huge things that universities in general do. So even though you might not individually be able to affect the hole in the ozone layer or change the world as at large, what you can do on a day-to-day basis is do your little part and also spread the word of sustainability. So hopefully you've had a little think about what sustainability means to you, and I'm just going to share a very quick video where we actually asked this very same question to some of our students on campus in Vancouver and the Okanagan. So let's check out what they have to say.
Hi, Tom. I don't think the sound's working too well.
Oh, the sound not working. That's not great.
Sorry.
Okay, no problem. If that's not working, I'll just flip back and we'll change that video down. So essentially, what we're seeing there, or what you weren't hearing, was just some definitions from students and what they were talking about in terms of what sustainability means to them. And on a very simple case, it is ensuring that we have the future working alive for tomorrow, that our children's children and our grandchildren, etc., will have a world that is still available and still happening, so they can go about their lives as we're doing today. And I think as universities, especially big research institutions, it isn't just a case of having these courses on offer. It is a case that we try and make sustainability embedded in everything that we do, not just the academic side of things, but also how we act and how the university campuses are actually working as well. So it's not just a word that we want to define, as you can see on the screen, it's a word that actually defines these types of research institutions. And we're putting this into action in several different ways. You know, we've had a climate plan in various different guises for the last 30-40 years, but since 2015 we actually put in place a plan to become carbon neutral by 2050. So yes, that's a long time in the future, but we are already there with some of our buildings on campus. And like I said, as a staff member working for the institution, I travel. Pre-COVID, I would travel quite regularly, and we would always be encouraged to make sure that we're offsetting our carbon footprints by sort of donating funding to those types of things. So it's something we do in everyday life. We're also known as one of the world's top 10 institutions for combating climate change. So if you do look at the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings, you will see UBC as one of the top 10 institutions. And like I said, it's not just based on the research that we're doing or the courses that we're doing, it's actually what we are doing on campus in terms of the buildings, in terms of everything that is taking place there. And this is a really great example of what we're doing in terms of sort of the social side of things on campus. So we actually created or built an aquatic centre that opened just over 2 years ago now. And this building you see on screen, obviously, it's a very, very strange shape. And the design of it obviously slopes down from front to back so it can actually capture rainwater. So all of the water in the actual pools themselves, in the hot tubs, in the saunas, in the toilet blocks, and the shower blocks, it's all filtered rainwater. So we actually use around 2.7 million litres of water that's captured from the sky. And if you've been to Canada on the west coast, you've been to Vancouver, you'll know it does rain quite heavily, a little bit like the northwest of England. So we capture all that water and we make sure that we're using it on a day-to-day basis so that we are being able to be very, very sustainable in that regard as well. And another really great example is actually we do have a net carbon neutral residence or dormitory on campus. So this personal residence opened about just over 3 years ago now, and it is the first carbon neutral dormitory that opened in Canada. So we're very, very proud to be sort of leaders in that respect as well. And it's a lovely, lovely building. Like I said, it's the most recent building, a dormitory on campus, on the Okanagan campus. Lovely place to be. But when we flip over to sustainability and looking at it from an academic standpoint, as we mentioned earlier, it's not just about the specific courses themselves. Now, when you're looking at degrees in Canada and the US, that North American system in general, you can sort of integrate these types of classes into any degree you're doing. So even if you're doing, an engineering degree or you're doing a fine arts degree, you will always have the option to take some classes and courses outside of your main area or your main focus or your major. So you can certainly take lots and lots of different classes in different areas. But some of the things that I've actually listed on here are very specific degrees that obviously relate to sustainability. So things like earth and marine sciences, very research heavy, forest resources management, human geography, and environmental engineering. All these types of courses have sustainability at the heart of that specific course. And we actually offer a really bespoke degree, which is the Bachelor of Sustainability. And again, this is a very relatively new course that we offer. And we look at sustainability not only in terms of, sort of the physical side of things, but also the political side of things, the economic side of things, the business side of things. So you're really looking at sustainability as a whole, across the whole spectrum, from sort of macro all the way down to the micro level. So everything from sort of global context all the way down to individual context. So this is a really great course. It's one of the top courses in the world in sustainability as well. And even though there aren't that many at the moment, these types of courses are becoming much, much more popular. And again, very, very similar to University of York, we do offer lots of options within the degree. So you can travel, you can do an exchange program, maybe with University of York or elsewhere in the world for a semester or for academic year. And we always encourage students to go and do internships and work placements or volunteer placements as well. And again, they can be domestic or they can be international as well. So again, great degree, a huge amount of flexibility within that degree, but also what we try and do is ensure that students are actually getting lots and lots of opportunities to get some great experiences as undergraduate students that will help them in their future careers. Now, talking of future careers, here is a little video which is subtitled. I managed to get them up, and it showcases some of our alumni and what they're doing to help Vancouver be much more sustainable in the world of cuisine. So let's have a little watch of this. Okay, so yeah, that's just a really great video that actually shows what students like yourselves can potentially be doing whilst you're still an undergraduate or soon after graduating, getting involved in sustainability, not necessarily just through your specific courses, but taking on extra classes, but also having that personal responsibility that you can actually make a difference. Because as cheesy as it sounds, you can see it on the screen, sustainability is your future, but it's also your children's future, grandchildren's future. It's future generations living that we need to be looking after, and we can make that change right now. So that brings me to the end of my little slideshow there. So I'm going to go ahead and finish sharing that. And I think we've got a little bit of time for questions. I think we've got 3 or 4 minutes. So yeah, Vicky, if we have a look in the chat room, I think there's a couple of questions in there.
Yeah, I've answered a couple, but if anyone else does have any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat and me and Tom can do our best to answer.
Yeah, thanks for that, Vicky. There's some good questions. Yeah, so one of them about IB graduates, do we have requirements? Entrance requirements, you can always find those online. And a really great question from Antonin at the start was, how do we incorporate those sustainable practices into bachelor programs? And I think, as you've already seen from sort of the videos and the presentation that I talked about at UBC, you will always have the option to be flexible. You can do double majors, you can do a major and a minor, you can do dual degrees. So there's always going to be options to take those sustainable classes as an undergraduate student, regardless of what your overall major might be. And
I think that's a slight difference between obviously the Canadian curriculum and here in the UK. So in the UK, you would normally study a degree that is follows the same pathway. So you would study, say, environmental geography. But we have lots of clubs and societies on the side which students can join outside of their studies, which can be around various different areas. So they could be around sustainability, they could be around climate change. So there is lots of options to get involved with that, but it would normally be outside of your studies as well.
Yeah, I think doing the work placements and volunteer programs and just getting involved in things on campus. I'm from the UK originally, but I studied in the US. And one of the things that we did on campus was something called Champions of Character. And we had to do volunteer programs a couple of times each year. And it would range from just, picking up litter in the local towns to sort of teaching children how to read. But there was always, at least once a year, we would have that sort of sustainable aspect to those things as well. So even if it's not your whole major, there's always that opportunity to get involved and do your little bits for the future as well. Okay, I don't see any other questions popping in the chat box, so hopefully that means that we managed to cover all the topics in our presentations. But I always encourage students to please get in touch with us. I'm going to pop my email address in the chat box there as well, so please feel free to get in touch if you would like to ask me other questions about sustainability or the courses we offer, or just UBC in general. And I'm sure Vicky will probably do the same there as well. But please, don't be afraid to reach out to people like myself, representatives, because we love hearing from students. We love answering your questions. And always go and check the website out, look at the courses that we offer, and have a look at what we are doing as institutions to commit to looking after the environment and making a sustainable future for you guys to enjoy.
Thank you very much, Tom. So I popped our email address in the chat now. So if you do have any questions, feel free to send us an email. Sorry, I think I've made a slight typo there, so I'll just retype it. That's me for quick typing. But also feel free to come along to our booths as well. So we'll be here until 5 o'clock today. So 5 o'clock UK time, so 6 o'clock, I think, in French time. So feel free to come and speak to us and ask any questions as well.
Okay. That's the wrap there. Thank you very much, Vicky, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the booth.
Thanks a lot. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, Juliana. I'm going to leave the call now, if that's okay.
Yes, go ahead. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.